The film begins in Utica, New York, where a truck driver nicknamed Clean works as a garbage collector. He moves through a rundown, crime-filled neighborhood. During his shifts, he picks up anything that still seems useful and saves it for later. When he gets home, these items become part of his attempt to find redemption. But his violent, sinful past keeps haunting him, reminding him that no matter how hard he tries, he can never fully escape it. He drives to a scrapyard and opens canned food for his dog. Later, he attends a support group where a veteran named Travis admits he is addicted to drugs, and Clean admits he was once addicted to violence. At home, Clean lives alone after losing his daughter and going through a divorce. He cooks chicken for dinner and fixes an item he found on his garbage route. The next morning, he stops by his neighbor's house and invites a teenage girl named Diana to share a meal. Diana knows he has helped her a lot, but she reminds him that he is not her father. She gives him a handmade bracelet before leaving on the school bus. Clean cleans up and goes to a thrift store, where he puts an item up for sale. Soon after, a woman comes in to buy a gun, which troubles him, but his attention shifts when he later buys paint from another woman. Clean also spends his time helping the community by removing graffiti from neighborhood walls. The next morning, he sees new tenants moving in and once again invites Diana to share a meal. Even though he watches the new tenants with suspicion, Clean wakes up at night from visions of his deceased daughter. Looking at her photo, he becomes overwhelmed with emotion. The next day, at Travis's barbershop, Travis tells him that some things must be let go, or at least learned to live with. At the same time, we are introduced to Michael, a well-known drug lord. He goes to pick up his son, Mikey, from prison, but before he can see him, Mikey's friends take him away, leaving Michael disappointed. Mikey's friends drive off with him, and although Michael is angry, he decides to let it pass. At work, Clean is told he must cover more areas because the garbage crew has been reduced. He starts his route and moves through several neighborhoods. While picking up trash near a seafood restaurant owned by Michael, he sees a group of thugs dealing drugs. He ignores them and keeps working. Back home, he is once again haunted by his past and the loss of his daughter. The next day, Clean notices that Diana is walking to school because the bus no longer comes to their neighborhood. He gives her a ride, and along the way she asks why he is always alone without a girlfriend. Clean says he is not good with women, prefers to focus on his work. Meanwhile, Mikey's friends drop him off late at home, which makes Michael angry. Michael urges Mikey to join the family business, but Mikey mocks him and says he can't handle the smell. Soon after, Michael learns that 5 bags of cocaine are missing and realizes the Chinese couriers have been stealing from him. Meanwhile, Clean fixes his late daughter's bicycle and gives it to Diana so she can get to school more easily. Diana's grandmother, Ethel, moves out and tells Clean he doesn't need to worry about Diana. Clean says he helps her because it saves him, like a lost soul trying to hold on. Ethel remembers when the streets were full of children playing, but now gangs have forced everyone inside. She mentions seeing him paint over graffiti and believes he is a good man, but Clean denies it. Later, at Travis's house, Clean recalls buying a bicycle for his daughter, watching her ride it with joy, and the moments he still treasures. Michael spends time at church even though his cocaine business is still running. The drugs are packed into small grams and sent around the neighborhood, hidden inside fish deliveries handled by the Chinese couriers. During one delivery, Michael calls Mikey over and violently beats the Chinese crew leader with a hammer to send a message. He warns the others to check their shipments carefully and tells Mikey to clean up the blood. That night, while collecting trash, Clean sees blood and broken glass from the murdered couriers. Disturbed but quiet, he continues his job. Right after that, Michael walked up behind Clean. He apologized for the bad smell and offered him a cigarette, but Clean refused. Michael then tried to give him a tip, but Clean declined again and walked away calmly. The next day, Clean's car broke down while he was driving, forcing him to stop in a rough neighborhood. As he checked the engine, a group of thugs ran past, chasing someone into an alley. Hearing screams, he went to look and saw them brutally beating a man. Clean froze, unsure what to do. When the gang noticed him and started to approach, another thug came from behind and hit him hard with a baseball bat. Clean woke up in the hospital, where doctors were treating his injuries. He remembered the moment his daughter once caught him self-medicating. The doctor gave him a prescription, but he refused to take it. At work, he was placed on leave because of his condition. On his way home, he saw Diana outside at night. She said her grandmother had taken the keys, so Clean invited her inside. Diana noticed he wasn't doing well. As she looked around, she found a wooden box. When she opened it, Clean reacted suddenly, frightening her so much that she ran out of the house. At Michael's mansion, he tried to talk to Mikey, but Mikey was too focused on practicing rap. Michael became angry, and the argument escalated. Mikey pulled out a knife and threatened him, but he couldn't bring himself to harm his own father. In the end, Mikey decided to leave home. Later, while driving, Clean saw Diana spending time with a group of thugs. He told Diana to go home because it was late, but she reminded him he wasn't her father and had no right to tell her what to do. The thugs confronted Clean and ordered him to leave, but Diana eventually agreed to go with him to prevent a fight. Later, at a meeting, a man talked about the demons people face, voices that drag them down, steal their hope, and make them believe they can't achieve anything. Outside, a man approached Clean and said he looked familiar. Clean denied it, but the man insisted he recognized him as the former partner of a well-known gangster. Clean then returned to his work, cleaning graffiti in an abandoned building. When he looked inside, he felt someone might be there, so he went in to check. Suddenly, he found a toolbox with a wrench inside. Later that night, while driving, Clean saw Diana's bike in front of a thug's house. Inside, the gang was drinking and using drugs, and Diana was there with them. When she tried to leave, one of the thugs started filming her and blocked her path, trying to harass her. Clean reached the door and saw Diana inside. He rushed in and attacked the thugs with a wrench. He took down everyone, including the one who tried to assault her. Mikey was among them. Afterward, Clean held Diana and brought her back to her grandmother, even though the whole incident had been recorded on a phone. Meanwhile, Michael stayed by his injured son's side. The doctor said Mikey needed surgery or he might lose his voice forever, but Michael refused, calling it a lesson for him. Later, Michael watched the video from the previous night and uncovered Clean's identity. Frank, a corrupt officer, told him that Clean was just a garbage collector living in the slums. Knowing Clean might run, Michael ordered Frank to kill Diana and Ethel to hurt Clean before capturing him. Meanwhile, Clean was driving out of town with Diana and Ethel. Soon after, a police officer signaled him to stop. When he pulled over, he realized the cops were working for Michael. Clean sped off immediately, trying to escape. He left the main road to hide and switch vehicles. They stopped at a small place with a bowling alley and a diner. Diana took Ethel to the restroom while Clean looked around the parking lot for a car he could steal. At the same time, some of Michael's men spotted Clean's vehicle. After confirming it was his, they headed toward the diner. As the henchmen walked in, Diana and Ethel were heading out, so they hurried back inside. While waiting for them, Clean saw one of the thugs, quickly took him down, and grabbed his axe. The other henchmen continued chasing, forcing Diana and Ethel to run to the back of the building to hide. Their hiding spot wasn't very secure, and the henchmen almost found them. Just then, Clean appeared and confronted the attackers. The fight was intense, but he managed to overpower them, taking each one down in close combat. After defeating them, he returned to Diana and Ethel and told them to leave quickly. We flash back to a night when Clean was still a professional hitman. When he came home, he noticed his drug syringe was missing and realized his daughter had used it. She died soon after, leaving him overwhelmed with guilt and grief. From that moment on, his life completely changed. At the motel, Ethel blamed Clean for ruining their chance to go home, but he promised he would fix everything. Later, Clean drove back to the neighborhood, met Travis, and warned him about Michael's men. He then went home to get some money and headed to a pawn shop to buy guns. His friend at the shop gave him a high-quality gun that suited his needs. Clean then gathered more supplies and blueprints. Meanwhile, Frank received a call and found out that Clean was actually the infamous assassin once known as the Grim Reaper. Clean called Michael and warned him that he knew where he lived and was coming for him. He then used his skills to make a homemade silencer for a pump-action shotgun. To remind himself of who he once was, he cut a tattoo into his own back. After that, he put on body armor, gathered several weapons, and loaded them into his car. Michael ordered all his men to increase security. Meanwhile, Clean went back to his garbage route. Sitting outside Michael's house, he set a trap on the fuse box and took down all the guards outside before returning to his garbage truck. As Michael and his crew drank and celebrated, Clean drove his garbage truck straight into the house. The trap exploded and shut off the power. Michael's men fired at the truck, but Clean escaped and started a violent gunfight with them. Shortly after, Frank confronted him, and the two fought in a brutal hand-to-hand battle. Clean shot Michael with a flare gun and kept chasing him. Michael tried to hide and almost got shot, but he managed to fire first. Clean then rushed at him, and the two fought in a violent hand-to-hand battle. Michael managed to knock Clean to the ground. In that moment, Clean saw a vision of his daughter. It gave him strength, and he quickly turned the fight around and overpowered Michael. But just as he was about to finish him, Mikey appeared and shot Clean first, then turned the gun on his own father. Mikey kept firing until the gun was empty. When he tried to shoot Clean again, he realized he was out of bullets. After the battle, Diana's neighborhood finally became safe again. Children returned to the streets to play. While riding her bike, Diana saw a garbage truck approaching and smiled. The movie ends here. Thank you for watching. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe for more summaries. See you next time, and have a great day.